Hi everyone, I am Dhruti Shah and welcome to this episode. So, what does it really mean to retire at 44, especially when you're at the top of your game? In this wonderful and inspiring episode, we sit down with a business owner, Bhavesh, and my husband, who recently made a very bold move of selling his thriving company. But this isn't just a story about business strategy. It's a conversation about identity, legacy, and the courage it takes to redefine success on your own terms. The episode is a masterclass in intentional living. Listeners will take away honest reflections on the emotional complexity of selling a business, the importance of personal growth, self awareness, and shifting mindsets. How legacy is shaped not just by what we build, but how we live. A new perspective on retirement as a reinventing chapter of your life and not an ending. Practical inspiration for anyone thinking about their next chapter, whether you're a founder, dreamer, or someone just standing at crossroads. This conversation will get you thinking deeply about what you truly want from life and how to create it. Let's dive in. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for being on the hot seat.
Okay. Well, let's see how
Okay.
it goes.
Yes. So you sold your business.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when did you
You
just
can
for
see a lot of emotions still are
yes,
piling up, and it's still not
exactly out of your
cleared.
system. So when did you get into this business?
So, um, I was born and bred in Kenya, and then went to study in UK, and then spent about almost a decade working out there with different companies, getting experience and things. I got a bit tired of working and always had this passion, right? We come from these generations and families, from the offshore community or Shahs, right? And I think something is there in the blood to start a
We
business or
say, yeah,
do a
business is in
business
our blood.
or to do a business. So
Yes.
I think it was that eager calling, which was uh, when when my grandfather passed away, and just before he was not well, when I came down, and I did not know, but I'm like, it was just something that was running through my head. And I had a conversation with my family. So we were staying in an extended family. And dad was there, and Kaka was there, and Kaka meaning uncle was there. And I said, look, all I had to say is, I want to come back now. Maybe look into starting a business or investing into a business. I had to say nothing further. In fact, one of my kakas just said, come down. When are you coming? Right? And what eager, not even your dad, but your uncle telling you, like, just come down. What eager, like, invite than that, right?
Yeah. And at this time, you're still working in
I was
London.
still working in London.
You were supposed to go back to that job.
I was supposed to go back to the
And
job.
this is like 8 to 10 years you're in that industry.
Correct.
This is what you had studied, IT,
Yes.
and your ideal job.
Right.
Okay.
So I went back after being here for a week or two. And as soon as you go there, now your head is already running on the other side of the world, right? And I knew I had to do my due notice and terminate, and so it was even really hard because now I'd made my mind up that no, I am planning and I am going to move.
So this is not the first time you've shifted things in your life
I
completely.
mean, it was a total shift because at this point, pretty much through the extended family, all the cousins and everyone had shifted to UK.
So the plan was for the whole family to
And
move there.
probably, yeah, they would probably look at wind up here and move to UK.
So who was here? Your dad
My
and your
dad,
uncles.
uncles, and some of my aunts. But
And
yet, all the
they
younger
probably-
generation had already were already over living there or working there and or studying there at that point.
And at this time, we had our own shop, and they
Correct.
were working. So they probably didn't want to move to the UK, and then they were so
They probably
happy.
didn't. No,
That's why they're like, "When are you
no.
coming there?"
Correct. So yeah, I mean, just even going there and your head is sitting there. What flashes back now is, having those conversations with your managers, stating that you want to go back for this reason, and they're like, no, but can we offer you something else? Can we give you a better package? But clearly, at that point, it wasn't about the package or the money. It was the eager want of
Having your
getting
own
into
business.
business. And we know Kenya, and we thought, Kenya economy was really booming at that time, and I was moving back. And when you look at all those factors, it was like really aligned. Things were really aligned.
Okay, so you came back and
Yes,
you bought this business.
we got into this business, even through a long story, but yes, we got into this business.
Okay, so at this time, do you know anything about manufacturing when you came?
No, so I mean, the business is obviously, it took, neither did we know about manufacturing, neither did we know about paper or anything related, right? It worked out there in the IT space. We worked with system processes, worked in management roles, and we worked in all those other things. But neither did none of that running a business. I think I was a zero, total zero.
That's
I
what I
mean,
wanted
we
you to
jumped
say.
in, but yes, it was a total zero, let me say.
Yeah. And then from there to,
It's been a journey. It's
yes?
been a journey. I
Yeah.
mean, from there to selling the business this year in March,
Forget even selling. I want
right?
you to even
But
talk
be,
about growing it.
but before we get there, before
Yeah.
we get into selling, I think if we look at this journey, it's a boy's journey where when I got back, I was 28, 29, just getting to 30, and I would say that I was a boy at that point, and we were not married at that point, didn't have kids at that point.
We had just started dating.
We just started dating after I came back, and every single day I would come back and I would probably sit with her, and then I'd like be racking my head off and saying, I've got this problem, I've got this headache, I was firefighting this, I was doing this, I was doing that
So, irony
every
of
single
this
day.
conversation right now here is when we met, we had just sold our business.
Yes.
And we were into manufacturing, and we had just sold the business, and
Right.
they had just gone into
I had gotten
manufacturing.
into
So
it.
I had a few years on me with manufacturing. And yes, I remember those days when you'd be like, sometimes we was planned date, otherwise like, where are you? Come down, I need to speak to you.
Yeah.
And then we'd sit in the car and
Really, like, I mean, when we came into the business, it was, there was a total lack of, system and processes. The previous owners probably did the best they could, right, into
with
operating
the
it
resources
with
they had and the
with the
knowledge. Yeah.
resources and knowledge that they had. So when we came into it, it was totally like, the person, I was expected to do everything. And, from taking orders to running to the factory floor to giving everyone what to make, what products to make, to checking inventory, to checking that, to taking, and there was no one else particularly, like no supervisors, no production managers, no one else,
That
to
you could.
loading a car and everything you had to do. And at the end of the day, what I realized is that, look, I was running around like a headless chicken, right? And you're just running. When you start looking back, and then we were reflecting, and I think we were reflecting together, and we were like, really, like, we spent this 1-2 years running through this whole thing, and have we moved the needle? And sometimes you're just scratching your head and saying, really, I think I've put in a whole lot of effort in life, and sweat, emotions, and being tired, sometimes getting home at about 11 o'clock at night.
Forget that. We're newly married by this
And newly
time.
married.
You spend 7 days a week at work,
Yes.
sometimes even nights. I had my doubts. No, but jokes aside, yes, the business required a lot.
Which required, yes.
Um, okay, and then
So that was, I think, the point where a lot of reflection came in to say, is
yes,
this the best way of doing things, right? Is this the only way of doing things, right? And, over the years, what has happened is that we look at solving a problem, and we take a problem and we put our heads into it to try to make it go away so that you can move and progress to succeed to the next layer or next step. So at
correct.
some point, I can say that I have put on hat as a chief problem solver in the
Yes, I
business,
think
right, as well.
yeah,
And but apart from that, we did a lot of Kaizen workshops, which was kind of a really mind-changing thing, not just for me, but for most of the factory staff or the managers that were there.
yes. I
Because
remember this one instance where you were so excited. You came home. He's like, Drew, you remember the part changing that used to take us,
2 days,
yeah,
two
certain number
days,
of hours, 2 days.
yeah.
So from changing,
Exercise book machine from A4 to A5.
just
Yeah.
that, you brought that time down to what?
So it was a 2 day thing, and we needed a specialist. Only one of our chief engineers was able to do it.
And he wouldn't always be
He
available.
wouldn't be available. So first you have to time his availability, then you agree, then you plan the change. We brought it down successfully in the first iteration down to 8 hours. In the second iteration, we brought it down to 4 hours. Subsequently, we brought it down to 55 minutes. And then I think after that, I've lost track, but I think it's at around 35 to 40
It's
minutes
in
now.
minutes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, from days.
Yeah.
And also, by this time now, you also realize that this particular job could also be done by other people and
So
not
no,
just
so
your
but not only did not it wasn't only that the time was brought down. The skill transfer had happened as well. So instead of only the chief
chief.
engineer doing it, we had the operators that were actually running that machine being able, because then successfully we made it a standard operating procedure,
Yes,
and everyone was trained onto it, and that was the right and correct way of doing it.
yes.
So that was one win, right? And
No, this is just one example
yeah.
of the many, many wins that we saw over
Yes,
the years.
yes.
And I think bringing Kaizen, and I think it was one of those moments
So
where,
what shifted, and I think even before we go into that example, was what shifted is the mentality, right?
okay,
We all want to, our space might be in a very different form. And status quo as being that, okay, this is how things have always been done. It's not only with management or senior staff, it's also with everyone at every level that this is how things are done. But what really shifted was the paradigm, where when you start changing the lens that you look the world at, you start seeing that, okay, is this the best way to doing things? So, and for a lot of our people, once those changes started, first change improvement happened, second improvement happened, the factory, you know totally changed, the outlook changed. I mean, reflecting back now and asking some of the workers there, would you ever want to even go back into that space? And all of them no, because they've
no,
seen the benefit, they've seen the
ease of doing
even
things.
ease of things, right? Everyone's response, because when we're looking at the whole philosophy is waste elimination, removing strain, and removing variation, right? And you're trying to attack it regularly. But what we also did was build teams
Yes,
and empowering people.
they felt included. That's
Right.
what I was saying. It was such
Yes.
an inclusive
It wasn't a
thing.
only top down decision, but
In fact,
now
it was they
it
were the ones
became that
suggesting.
now you'd actually go to the ground, as we call Gamba, and you work on the Gamba, and you'd regularly be working at all levels of the organization would be working together on that project. So now communications loops started opening up. People started chatting in a different way, and people took on the beautiful thing about it is people took on responsibility,
They own
and
their work.
together with the responsibility came pride, and that pride of coming into work every day. That yes, I'm coming to make a difference.
Yes, and this is
That
my company, this is
right.
my brand.
So it wasn't just Bhavesh that changed that whole organization. Yes, maybe I was the instigator of that
Doing the,
process,
yes.
but it was the whole team. Everyone across the ground did that. Was part of that success.
Awesome. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah,
Okay. So now this is a family business.
right.
And coming to the topic of selling it,
Yeah.
when you sell a family business, it comes loaded with emotions, because
Oh yes,
what we've just talked about, like, you can feel that,
yes, yes, yes,
it's
yes.
our company. If the people feel it, then
So I mean, look. Before even we get into that family business, having vested, we spent 15 years in running that business,
yes,
grew it from that stage to another level, right? In that time frame. And it wasn't just us who said we have made it, it was the market that were kept on talking about it. And it was something of pride that we were even able to it wasn't okay, let's not put it in pride, but it
something to
was
be, yes, proud about.
proud
Yes.
of, right? And coming back to your question on being a family business, I mean, full of emotions. You don't know, you know, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go about? What is it?
No,
What
I'm
is
sorry, but I
things
do know.
happen? No, but it brings in a whole host of emotions,
Yeah.
and even the decision. I mean, forget about the decision. Even the thought, when the initial approach was there, it was totally confusing
Yeah.
because
But
clarity was very hard to find. Because like, okay, yes, this is a family business. We are running it. Me, my brother, and my dad were running it, being involved in it day to day. There was a place we would wake up, have breakfast at home, and then go to work. And in
no,
the evening,
sometimes you had
we
breakfast there as well.
we would we would come back, right? And that would be kind of the native thing that was there. That was we were like, it becomes also part of your surname, right? Because it would come as Bhavesh Economic
It is.
or things like
A lot
that.
of people are nodding. They've
And
saved your name as Bhavesh
and
Economic.
people know me that way because I've interacted with people along those lines or talked to people
Yeah.
along the line. Still, to date, I still introduce myself the same manner, right? And the key thing is coming back to that whole thing of family. Uh, Look, when you're in a family business, it's not a single person. That is also you need to get consensus from the rest of everyone around.
People working and people not
Right.
working.
And what I believe there is that, look, you cannot be doing things in isolations or in islands. The communication needs to open up and you
So,
need to talk.
so when you broke this news that, you have this idea of selling, or you have this offer, whichever was first, how was it perceived by your dad and your brother?
I think totally in the first case, it was just not understood. I mean, particularly
You weren't
the
thinking of at
no,
that time.
even I myself, I probably was not even accepting that whatever it was,
But
in
denial
the
is
sense
always
that,
the
right?
first
And it was
stage.
a state of denial, right?
Yeah.
And we've had various conversations along the line ourselves, discussing the options of it. At one point, you are also thinking, no, how
What
can
will you do
you, what
next?
will you
What
do
next?
next,
It's always
right?
the question, what next?
And same with mom and dad.
But
So,
let me wait, let's pause there.
okay.
Do you think for a lot of people, a lot of companies, whether they're doing well or not well, or whatever it is, we can't let go of what we have right now is because of the fear of what next?
Yeah. So, think about this, and I'll take you back to this status quo that I was talking about in the Kaizen journey. We've gone through, in that last 15 years, through a lot of changes. To change any organization to perform well in today's world, I mean, today's world has become even 10 times faster with the advent of AI, machine learning, and technologies that will be coming surfacing around here. You know, it's like at the pinnacle of the manufacturing industrial revolution when automation became things people did not know. So, change management would be a very integral part of any business that people need to incorporate into it. We had done it, obviously not at a very rapid pace, which may be required as of today. But coming on this point of yours, that can I think about selling my business, or can I change something I'm doing in my business as a family business, or have we always been doing things this way, right?
Yes.
So that question, it's a very difficult one, because understand one thing, that if your status quo remains the same, you may be thrown out by competition,
Yes.
or you may be thrown out by the market itself.
So we say, yeah, if nothing changes,
Nothing changes.
nothing
Nothing
changes.
changes.
So changes at every level have to be brought in.
Changes have to happen.
But I think it also comes down to who's running the show as well, right? Like, for example, when you bought economic, you were given the seat
Yeah.
to run.
Yes.
Suppose it was an elderly person. I'm not saying your dad or uncle or anybody else, but suppose it was somebody who wasn't that welcome to change or that adaptable. Yeah. Then things would have looked different.
Of course. And in the sense that, look, everyone's viewpoint could be very different.
Very different.
Right? My viewpoint together with my brother's viewpoint can be very different as well.
Yeah.
And traditionally, businesses always find challenging when it comes to succession planning, or when the next generation coming into the business. And that is the part of the change management that also needs to be
Needs to
incorporated and planned for in future, that before the generation is there into the business. Here I got, we came into from dad and uncle and them lot. Their experience was with wholesale and retail, and they were in the dukkha kind of zone. So for them, industry was a new concept as well. Hence, me having to also jump in to take up the ship and being the captain of that boat, and having to show the guiding ropes of how to move. Not always did I know where to go or what to do, but you get into networking,
I
you
was
meet
coming
people.
to that. Yes, that
Yeah,
you've gone through a lot of courses,
correct.
not only on business development side, but also personal growth. So share some light, because I've always known you as somebody you're always learning,
Okay.
which is such a good thing.
So learning, I think for me, I'm a lifelong learner. Let me say it out and front. I'm a lifelong learner, and why I'm saying that is that I probably didn't learn well in school days.
Our kids are going to listen to this, so they're going to say, "Oh, it's
But
okay for them not to learn in school."
life through life. I mean, look, these changes, a lot of technology changes, a lot of system changes, the way management systems develop of time. So I like reading, I like listening to audiobooks. I'm always reading up on the internet of what's happening in the markets out there,
No, but that's
and things like
different.
that. But together with that, to supplement with that, there's two more things. So I've also done a lot of courses across the board from different things, from the owner manager program that I started at Strathmore. Subsequently, we've done a lot of work through the Kaizen projects that we've done. Then we've gone to the Isha Foundation has two amazing programs called HINAR, which means human is not a resource, an opportunity, which I'd recommend to anyone because it was a mind shifter for me.
Okay.
And we also attended Insight, right?
Okay.
Tell me.
The mind shifter, the word that you've used, mind shifter. I think something always shifted after every course.
Of course it does.
Yeah?
It's not only every course, it's after. If you value an interaction, whether it is a course or it's a friend, sitting with a friend or a colleague or a consultant or someone, if you're able to take up the knowledge that someone is offering you and understand it and apply it, it is shifted. Some of the courses are a mind shifter because it's designed to shift your mind.
Yes.
And it becomes obvious that there is shift. Like, think about this. Human is not a resource, but an opportunity,
And we have,
right?
yes.
That program was designed around how do you, so when you are running a business or your managers are there, this is, so you're talking about task delegation, you know, and you become puppeteer in chief. But is that the anthem of success? No. I think the success actually comes when you get everyone involved, everyone taking ownership, accountability, and responsibility,
Yes.
and moving away from blame, denial, and excuses. And that's the time when you get them to grow up. And they will make mistakes. 100% people will make mistakes. It's okay. And those are the mistakes that the shapes that organization. And those are the learnings when the successes come also shapes those organization. So once we came back, I came back from that particular one. We had a series of forums. Not only were we looking at focused on building leaders within the core reportees that I had, but we also wanted to flow it down 2 or 3 levels deeper so people get empowered at every stage. And it's a hard journey. It's not an easy journey to
Nobody's.
empower people because some people do not understand. Because for them, it goes back to a change management.
Yes.
So
No, when you said it's a hard journey, but you know what's also hard? Staying the same.
staying same is hard,
Yes.
right? Staying same, I think,
And having the same problems on a loop.
yes, and you'll become redundant at some point,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
you will be outsmarted by someone else who is willing to move forward.
exactly. All right.
Yeah.
So let's go back to uh, the family business, the family agreeing to.
It was a long, it was a long, uh, let me say a long road because first is acceptance, right? Everyone had to understand and accept. First is that everyone has to get into knowing, okay, what is the impact? What is the next move? Uh, why are we doing this? Because it wasn't like per se in the sense that the money was required. The business was doing really good. We had the best years of our life, and it had shown growth
Yes.
of successful growth for the last 7, 8 years of double
Yes.
digits, and it was growing further to that.
So when you broke, now the people in our family have accepted. Then you've gone through 2 years of the lengthy, the process of
Right.
um,
Discussion,
discussions.
negotiations,
Yes, yes.
the due
Until now, the
diligence,
signing and
all
the
that,
handover.
right?
Now, when you broke the news to your, friends and family, now extended, what kind of responses did you get?
So, okay. Uh, when the news comes out or when we had to break the news out before it comes out. So as part of the Kenyan law, we have to put it through the gazette process and all that, so we had to put the news out ourselves. uh, a lot of varied reactions. I mean, I can say, and you can actually, with that kind of a reaction, you can see the differences in the generations.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had, people our age uh, would be congratulating us of the success of the successful exit, right? That would be a successful exit. While people maybe younger than us would still be in that form of understanding, not knowing exactly what that would mean. They say yes, no, because they're also at the prime of their career and starting off. Then we'd had people going into the 50s or the 60s, and that's where the query actually came in, because a lot of them actually in the initial days did not, it was clear, oh, you have retired. And for them, it's like, why did you sell that business? I thought you were doing well.
Yes.
And
They actually,
things
it
in
came from
that sense,
concern, like,
from concern,
yeah, like,
from
oh, you
from a
had to
point of
sell?
concern, right?
Yes.
And you're talking to them and making them understand that no, it is, we were doing well, it was the best years of our life, but If someone is coming to offer you, you don't say no. You want to hear it out, and something may happen from there.
First of all, selling is an alien concept to a lot of people. Like,
Yes,
why would you sell? It's your baby. Second thing is, why sell when you're doing that well, or why sell at the prime?
yes,
That's another.
correct, correct.
But then, why wouldn't you?
Well, look, let's put ourselves into their shoes, right? And some of them have had to sell a business because of distress.
Yeah.
And maybe that is the predicament around the whole story where, people are selling under distress and they've exited out, or they're leaving the country and they're selling out. And that would be kind of the way of
Yes.
exiting out of a business.
Or people in our community, at least, never sold. Like, it
Not
gets,
really.
the businesses have
No,
to get passed
it's
on.
it's generational. So it moves
Yes.
from one generation to another. And we know many people, our friends, colleagues, whatever, who are multi-generational businesses
Yes.
who are still there,
Which is
and
amazing.
probably would not even think about selling as of today as well.
Yes. Which is also
Yes.
awesome. Yeah.
And then there is the part of our age group as well, and people around the thing who have done partial exits and PE and VC and other kind of exits around the business as well. So it is a cross thing. And the landscape is probably not very clear for people because you see, everyone comes with their own mindset and their own paradigm.
It's true. There are also a lot of people, I think, deep down would want to exit, would want to sell, would want, whatever else it is in life that they would want. But there is what would XYZ say, like whether it's family members, peers, or uh, I went through it, I know it. Before I even could say the word out that I want to sell my shares, it took a year in my head. And then I said it to my
So
shareholders. So it's,
let's even look for me and for us, right? What happened is, even before that exit opportunity came in, mentally we were already in that zone, and there was a lot of work being done to exit from operationally running day to day running the business.
yes,
So we had the last 4 or 5 years, we put in a lot of processes and systems and controls to move out from that operationally daily running that business. And if this exit opportunity was not coming, there was a viewpoint where I was already looking at exiting out of
doing something
day-to-day
else. Yes,
operational running of this business. Now, with likewise with people that, you know, some people may not see an opportunity, because to move a business to a point from running as a family business to getting it ready and being run by shoulders of the people who are working with it, it's also a massive transition.
it is.
Because if you are the only point caller, and only person to show direction, and independent leaders are not there, and people are not able to make decisions appropriately, and the right measures are not there, it's very hard to exit out of that business,
It
because
is.
it's a job that you're doing. It's
Yeah.
not a business, it's a job.
Yeah, but you're right. For a few years now, you and Akhil both were moving from that day to day, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then this made sense for you guys.
I mean, it was in the subconscious, it was in the discussions we've had, but emotionally it wasn't easy anyway. I mean, like,
Yes, never
either way,
is.
because even to get that acceptance internally, it took some time, and I had to process those emotions to move to that point of acceptance internally as well.
Fair enough. Yes, and I know we've talked about it. So, okay. Now, a lot of people, when you tell them that we've sold our business, like, oh, Bob, you're retiring. So, let's talk about that word, retirement. What does
Okay.
that mean for you? Are you retiring?
Okay. Let's start with.
What does it mean for you?
I think one thing is there, right? Retiring. Like, I'm practically looking at it as it's a new opportunity in life for a new chapter. Uh, yes, I'm retiring from actively running of this business, but does not mean that in life you can't take on a new chapter. Now, that doesn't particularly have to be in the same way that you are before.
Hmm.
So it's an opportunity to open a new chapter in a new, fresh form, and could come in any varied form from that point on.
Okay, so you're open to life now.
Right.
Am I going to get more holidays?
Aren't you?
Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
let's talk about, um, this journey of
So
yours.
just before we get there,
Yes.
you remember the thing about if you are not willing to close a certain door, another door may not open.
Mm-hmm.
And that is part of the same thing, that sometimes if you're not willing to exit from a thing or close a chapter in that part of your life, a door, you may not, even if the door was staring at
You
you,
won't see it.
you would not see it.
Yeah,
It's like
because
that syndrome, when you see a particular car, or maybe someone is talking about a particular car, and then when you go on the road, and then the only thing you can see
sees
is you can
those.
start seeing. But 2 days before, you never saw that car on the road.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yes, yes, exactly. So what does this mean? Like, okay, we've got two boys, and you've lived your life in a certain way, and now you've exited the business. So um, let's. I want to talk about legacy.
Okay.
Yeah. So when people talk about, like, having their businesses, like, this is my legacy that I'm going to leave to my kids.
Right.
So what's your viewpoint on that?
I think, look at today, it's multifold, right? If you break it down, right, it is the cultural influence that we are providing, and the environment we provide as a family is part of the shaping up that we are providing. It's the education that we are providing to them. It's also part of the shaping and the legacy that is being created. It is the social interactions we take them to, and them meeting people and interacting with people. And we've also been shocked by the way some of the times that they have surprised us by the positive interactions they've had, and we've had comments of, wow, where did you teach them? Together with not that only, because it's the outward experiences that come into place. But when it comes to the part of wealth, security, right? I mean, as we say, today is not closing a chapter. There are ample new opportunities presenting, and we will probably move forward with something going forth. And that means that is for us.
So
And for them would be something for them to create in that day and age. Because remember, today's paradigm will have shifted
oh, it's
already.
shifting while we
It's
talk.
shifting as we talk, but it
So
will have shifted.
So, do you think legacy is not something that we leave behind for them, but something that we live by right now, or how we live our life?
Look, I think, again, that's the holistic part of the whole life thing, right? You've seen those wheel exercises where you have to see different dimensions of life, and you rate yourself on how you're doing with whether it's family, personal connections, or wealth, finance, education, blah, blah, blah. So the same thing comes in that, are you building them to be well-rounded across the board? Or is it a single focus item? So if anything that is single focus item is weak, right? And
True.
so the well-rounded approach in any scenario, they'll be suited.
Yep. So, speaking of your personal growth, are you doing any course right now?
I'm always
You're always doing a course. Okay.
always doing a course. So currently doing the Healthy Relationships program. So together with last time we spoke about Hinar and Insight, some of the other shaping ones have been the coaching body program provided by FitBanker Group, and also subsequently coaching through Healthy Relation program, as well as the FitBanker 90-day challenge. Uh, Definitely amazing programs which have shaped our lives, right? And we've seen the differences that came out from it. Right now, I think I'm working on myself.
I
And
love that.
by saying that, the Healthy Relationships program is not a program, particular for a, a relationship like this, but it's a relationship like this to yourself. And only if you sort this out, then other things can work.
You know why I love that you said I'm working on myself? Do you know how many feeds I get on my Instagram? Women working on themselves, yeah? And it's so cool to work on ourselves. It's so important. It's, as what you said, only if we work on ourselves, everything else will. And we've seen with us, like when
Mm.
I show up differently, you do, and vice versa, right? So I'm so happy that you said because it's also another topic where a lot of men shy off from, a lot
Yes.
of boys shy off from. And recently I was listening to a radio or something, and she said, there's nothing sexier than a man saying that they're working on the. I agree.
Oh. Look, I think society is always expecting men to be that macho, strong
I
person
think
who
it was.
doesn't. No, but let's put the box in, right? And where the box is, I mean, that's what's the kind of. And where is this coming from? This is coming from all the adverts we've been seeing on TV.
Is it?
I mean, this is the formation which is coming from all the marketing that has been going over generations,
Oh,
right? And as you say, there's nothing better than working on yourself. Really. I mean, like, if you are not okay, if you are not sorted, who else can you help?
yeah. It's like,
Right?
yeah.
And it could be, you work on yourself by learning, by increasing things, by, by health, by mental well-being, by your workouts or spiritual journeys, or, even your networks or social connections in various forms, right? And one way to work with yourself is going through a journey of personal healing and understanding your past traumas and mentally sorting yourself out so that tomorrow you're able to handle any situation that may come across you.
True that. Um, I have a question that I'll ask a lot of people. Um, what would you tell your 30-year-old self starting this business?
Go for it. I think, life is a journey. As we go through it, if we knew what we know today when we were 30 or 25, it would have been a different story. But I'm like, go for it. And, don't be shy of making those mistakes, because as long as you're willing to learn from the mistakes and take the growth potential out of it, you do. The worst thing for you to do is not do anything.
Yeah,
So, moving forward, succeeding or failing is still fine, better than not moving.
totally agree. And another question, what would your 60-year-old self thank you for?
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm hoping that, one thing is there, that we keep on working at the same rate that we would be doing right now. And, uh, like this year, I'm looking at doing, in October, I'm looking at doing climbing Mount Meru, which is supposed to be really tough, right? And one of the toughest mountains in the region. And I have taken it up because of a challenge. Because number one, it is to get up there, and so to hit a peak, both mental, physical, and everything. But not only to that, to improve my health as well. So the training part of it, to getting ready for that challenge, is also a precondition. So having a goal in mind and moving forward then helps you set the ground. So when I want to be 60, I want to run. and
Okay.
and I want to be fit,
Okay.
right? And so I think the important part of it is being well grounded, being self-sufficient, but being healthy. Because I don't think if you don't have health, then you can't enjoy anything else.
Yep. So when you have your health, you have 1,000 problems. When
Yes,
you don't have your health, that's your only one
that's the
problem.
one problem that you have.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to end with?
No, I think the key thing is I'm really proud of the work that you're doing here.
Thank you.
And when you first started and came to me, that I want to launch my podcast. This uh, might have dismissed it a little bit, but as soon as you launched your, we got the things and your equipment and you got started with it. But as soon as you launched your first, second, third, it's been amazing to listen to and hearing those conversations, which sometimes would not be told
Yeah,
or
true.
not be spoken about.
Yeah.
And there are things of success. Different stories have come out in for different people and different kind of
Yes.
all walks of life.
Yes. And also, yours will be the first episode that will be aired where the hot seat has been occupied by a male.
Thank you.
So, congratulations on that. Um, I want to also say this to everyone that I hope I've asked a lot of, men before on their topics and on their journeys, but they were a bit shy and a bit not comfortable coming out. So, I hope this gives them, the courage or whatever it is that they're looking for to come and share their story as well, because every
Yeah.
story has that power. And I was also unsure about starting this podcast, but um, it's my swabhav, and I've come to own it through the coaching body that this is what I want to do. And it's so exciting doing it.
Yay.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Bhavesh.
you.